And when we got off stage, the venue owner was just standing there looking at me, shaking his head. Luckily, Ace is the coolest guy in
Just
the world.
like,
And yeah, and the sound guy was like, "I've been doing this for a very long time, and I have never seen anything like this in my life."
oh my
So
goodness. So that's
it was
definitely the memorable gig then, yeah?
a little bit, yeah.
Back to Uncensored, episode 13, and I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing one of the guys from the band Ablazed. So let's get on with it. Yeah. So currently it's 8 p.m. UK time where they are from. They're from Australia, and it is 5 a.m. their time. So let's add them in. I hope everyone's having a nice Tuesday. Oh, hi everybody. Thanks for joining. Okay. Let's do this. It's so warm at the moment in the UK. Oh, hello. What
There
a
we go.
beautiful. Hello. I was going to say, what a beautiful view. How are we
Yeah,
this very early morning?
good. We're here. We're alive. We're awake. We'll start there.
Beautiful. That's a good start. Good start. Okay, I'm going to kick off with what is the backstory behind the band and how did you all meet and decide to form a band?
Myself, the lead guitarist Ben, and our former rhythm guitarist Matt, all went to high school together. Been friends since we were, yeah, 13, 14 years old. And then shortly after high school, like literally, I think a few months after we graduated, we were all sitting in a pub and we were listening to a cover band absolutely mutilate uh, a song that we all loved, and one of us kind of looked like, and I can't remember who did what, but one of us looked at the other two and said, "Surely we could do this better than that." And the second one
Yeah.
went, "Yeah, we could," and then the third one went, "Should we?" And that was it. And then we got a couple of other mates together that could play bass and sing, and we started trying to play covers, and we were very misguided and just trying to play songs that we liked. And uh, the singer didn't really want to sing. He was actually a classical trumpet player, but he could
Wow.
sing, so he had to go for a bit, and then eventually just went, "No, I've got other things to do." And we also got bored very quickly of trying to play covers and d- decided to write something, and that was 2010. And so
Wow.
yeah,
Oh my
so since
goodness.
then, yeah, we spent a few years piss farting around, and then we as we decided to take things a bit more seriously,
Hmm.
obviously things start to change, and people who are in the band start to go, actually, that's not what I want to do with myself, which is
Hmm.
totally reasonable given how
Yeah.
difficult this stuff can be. And yeah, after that, from about 2014, the end of 2014, when we released our first single, it's been cruising since then.
Cruising since then. I love that. Could you tell us the story behind the name Ablaze?
uh, Unfortunately, there isn't a really good story behind it. It's more so we had originally we called ourselves what did we call ourselves? Fighting the Storm, which was
Ooh,
based
okay.
which was which was based off a trip that we had as teenagers down the Great Ocean Road here in Victoria, and we were fishing off rocks in the worst storm the area had seen in years and years. Literally a few clicks down the road, a camper was killed by a falling branch in this storm, and we were standing
Oh
on
my
rocks trying to
God.
fish. I don't know what fish we thought we were going to catch when the swells were basically taller than us. And it's a miracle none of us died, but we thought it was funny. So, because teenage boys are stupid. And so we called it that. And then kind of as things started to get a little more serious, we went, well, Fighting the Storm sounds very punk, and we're not a political punk band. And we changed the name to Edge, and
Ooh,
thought,
okay.
and we had a logo that a friend of ours is a graphic designer and designed a logo that said Edge, like if you turned it around, if it was reflected, everything, it still said Edge. It was really cool.
Ooh,
And
that's
then
cool.
around Australia, we've got, I'm sure there's Edge Denim, there's Edge Real Estate, there's all these companies called Edge. And the second that we kind of popped our head up, we got some emails saying, hey, we don't care if you're called Edge, but if you make any money off this, we're going to sue you. And we went, well, we're going to change the name. So we literally just all wrote out a list and ran through um, as many names as we thought sounded cool, and
Hmm.
no one, at least Australia-based, was called Ablazed. There was a couple overseas. I think there was a relatively heavy metal band out of Germany called Ablazed for a long time, but there wasn't anything. And there was a random band from Canada that had, in the early '90s, that released a single song and then became a Metallica cover band. But other than that,
Oh,
it was pretty
cool.
open. So we just went, yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's different, and it definitely catches people's attention. Caught my attention. Okay, so were there any major influences that have shaped your sound?
Um, yes, it's kind of complicated. Like everybody who's come into the band has come in with very different influences.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
from I was an AC/DC guy. Like I spent most of my teenage years listening to
Yes.
AC/DC, and then other Australian rock bands were big, like Rose Tattoo, the Screaming Jets, and then I loved Guns N' Roses and especially
Yeah.
Slash's solo stuff and Miles Kennedy, Alter Bridge. That was all a huge influence on me, and we all had kind of that overlap, but like our lead guitarist for a majority of his teenage years was a hardcore emo kid, so he listened to very different stuff. Rhythm guitarist was a kind of a power metal guy who's really into Iron Maiden. He loved thrash as
Ooh.
well. He's big on Metallica, Megadeth. He loved Megadeth. Um, and then, but everybody else has come from different influences. Well, we've got kind of that classic rock overlap. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about
Yes.
biggest influence, like our singer Danny, he's massively influenced by people like a lot of bands. Like he loves the Beatles. He's also, for a majority of his adult life, has been the Gene Simmons in a really popular
Ooh.
Kiss tribute
Uh-huh.
band here in Australia that have
Yep.
toured internationally as a Kiss tribute. Um,
Wow.
our bassist is still like a pop punk uh, modern
I
day
love
emo kid.
that.
Yeah, they're really into yeah that sort of stuff. And then our new rhythm guitarist Mike has got a huge range of influences as well. But we've all brought those different sounds in, and that's why. And something I'm quite proud of is that we can have quite a diversity in the songs that we write, and
Yeah.
they still sound like an Ablaze song at the end because we've got that overlap where we meet, but we can bring all this stuff from around, and it just comes out the way
Yes.
it does.
I love that. Now, what would you say separates your band from other bands in your genre?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
These are all new
I
questions as well.
that's awesome. I think for us, we've never been and never wanted to be one of those bands where we're on the stage, you're down there, and we're playing and we're looking cool. And I don't know why I went to guitar straight away. I'm a drummer. But we've always wanted, we've never wanted that us and them divide at the edge of the stage. We've always wanted everybody to be included. And we always want everyone to be part of the show. We really have an emphasis on our shows being fun. Yeah, we write serious songs as well. And some of our songs, which I think people think are very fun, are actually lyrically probably a bit more serious than they get credit for. But it's just that's how they come out, and that's fine. But we want everybody to be involved. We want everybody to be included. We've got lots of sing along bits and lots of crowd participation and all that sort of thing in our live shows.
I love
that.
So
that's big for us.
Beautiful. What would you say has been the most memorable or wildest gig you have ever played? I'm just going to hit you with all these questions.
No, it's good. I'm just waiting for my brain to speed up a bit at 5 a.m. Honestly, we've played some incredibly memorable gigs and a lot of gigs that, it's a miracle we still remember. I can remember we had a wild show at Bannerman's in Edinburgh.
Yes!
where we played. It wasn't, it was our last UK tour, so it would have been in 2019. It was before all the crazy stuff kicked off. But we just had this. We'd been doing UK and Europe for a few weeks at that point. We came and we played Bannerman's, and we had this great little crowd there, and everybody was just high energy. And then afterwards, we went down and we drank with everybody, and we ended up in this other bar. And I remember having far too many drinks, few too many of the Jaegers, and I found myself sitting in this bar that had a cinema in it, and it was surrounded by people. Everyone was drinking. I had a pizza and a beer, and I was surrounded by awesome people, and we're watching Team America or something crazy was on the screen, and I was sitting there going, "This is really cool. Is this it? Is this what we do?" But even ones that were memorable for weird reasons, we played a show probably early last year in Adelaide here in Australia, and it was a relatively new venue. It's a warehouse looks like it's been turned into the world's coolest man cave. Huge rock posters all over the walls, and all the tables have got different vinyl prints on them. It's called the Woodshed in Royal Park in Adelaide. It's awesome, and we were 2 songs into the set, and the drum riser in this place is about 6 inches too short for me.
Oh, no.
And the crash cymbal just went off the side. And that's fine. I hit very hard. I've knocked drum stuff around. What happened was that the cymbal managed to go straight through the main power cable to the stage and to that entire half of the venue. So as it's landed, I've hit it and I've just gone, oh crap, I'll get that in a second. All the lights went out, all the guitars turned off, all the vocals turned off, and all of a sudden I'm the only person playing. Everybody on stage is looking around. The sound is standing there looking like this, and the singers just yelled out, "Mango on the drums!" And I was like, okay. So I just started doing a drum solo. And the crowd, obviously the crowd can see that something very wrong has happened. So I'm trying to do a drum solo. I can't remember what month it would have been. I don't think it was that early. It would have been winter because it was cold. All my arms, I've warmed up a bit, but not enough. And so I'm soloing, and I get to the end of it, and I kind of hit the crashes, and I look up, and nothing's changed. And the singers just yelled out, "Keep going." Okay. So I've kept going. I've gone back. all my arms and legs are seizing up. They're like, you are not prepared to start thumping things this early. And kept going, kept going. I was taking breaks. I was yelling stuff at the crowd. They were yelling back. We kept going. It probably took about 3-4 minutes for the sound guy to run a new cable and everything. But like a cable probably about that thick. And it didn't dent it. It was sheared in half. And when we got off stage, the venue owner was just standing there looking at me, shaking his head. Luckily, Ace is the coolest guy in the world. And yeah, and the sound guy was like, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I have never seen anything like this in my life.
Oh my goodness. So that's definitely the memorable gig then, yeah?
Little bit, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Bit hair raising.
Oh my goodness. I wish I had been there to see this.
It was ridiculous. I'm surprised there isn't a video of it, to be honest.
I'm going to hunt online for this afterwards to see if there is a video of it, see what I can find. So usually my next question would be, do you have any new music? But you've obviously got your new album out. I have to say my favorite song from it is Unleash. Oh my God. It's fantastic. Could you tell us a bit more about the album?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So this album's been a long time in the making, considering it's only 8 songs. But I mean, we came back from our last Europe tour at the end of 2019. It was December. We went, okay, everybody take a minute. We had Christmas with our families and friends. We had January, nice summer. Everybody goes away and whatnot, and then we got back together at I'd lined up a few gigs just as a bit of a celebratory run of the country, and did a few shows just to say, hey, look, we did Europe, we did the UK, we've survived it all, we're back. And then we got back together the next week and said, okay, we're going to do another album. Where do we start? And I had a couple of songs already that I wanted to present to the band. And when we write really collaboratively. I can hyperfixate and run off and write an entire song. I don't want to do that because whenever we write together, whenever everyone's, that's when the songs are next level. And so this time I've got a few choruses, a few things, and I did have one song that was already done. And then our bassist at the time, Dave, went, I actually don't want to continue. I've got other things in life going on. And we went, yeah, that's totally understandable. So we're still really good mates with him. He's got a job and a family and stuff now, and that's, hey, we still love him to death. And so we went, okay, so we've got a couple of songs, we've got no bassist. What do we do? And then the world ended. Literally the week after that moment was when we first heard about this COVID-19 thing.
Yes, can't believe that was about 5 years ago. It's crazy.
It was less for us because Melbourne, where we are, was the most locked down city in the world. So our lives did, in fact, the longest lockdown that we had went from mid-July, because it was the weekend after my 30th birthday. It went from mid-July until the end of October. In 2021. So for us, it was a 2-year thing where we weren't allowed in the same room. Like I was living with Matt, the rhythm guitarist at the time, so we were good. But even though the entire band at the time lived within about 3 kilometers of each other, we weren't allowed in the same room. If we get on a video call, we're all idiots. No one's focusing on playing a song or anything like that, or at least it's very difficult to, and people start getting frustrated. Half of us are Italian, so we just talk over each other the whole time. So getting together to do that online was just really difficult. And so for some bands, that period of time was great for writing a whole heap of songs. For us, we couldn't get next to each other. So when we finally, towards the end of 2021, started getting together, we just started writing. And we came up with the first 4 songs relatively quickly. There was a couple of songs that we wrote as well that we got about halfway through and went, this isn't working, sideline it for a second. But that was when we wrote literally the first 4 that came out as singles. So it would have been Gasoline, uh, Old Scratch, I'm trying to remember my bloody songs, Different Kind of Nightmare, and Menace for the Medicine. They were all that first 4. We went and recorded them. Then while that was getting recorded, we started writing the next ones. We started touring those songs. I mean, Gasoline, I think, came out at the beginning of 2023. So it's been a journey. And then we finished recording the other ones. I think we rushed through towards the end of last year, Next Train Out, to make sure everything was ready for that single. And that took off. That had a huge response. We absolutely loved that. And yeah, got the last few songs. The last song that we finished, actually, End of the Day, the big finale on the album, that was the song that I actually brought to the guys at the start as a finished song.
Amazing.
Because the thing is just almost literally biblical, like it's a 6-minute gospel epic. And because I love writing harmonies and stuff, and they kind of said, all right, we'll let you run wild with it. And that's exactly what I did.
Yes.
It was a complicated one, but yeah, that all got wrapped up and done. And yeah, we've got our eight songs. And then on the CD as well, we've got the bonus, the other thing that delayed everything a little bit was the fact that we randomly said, you know what, let's write a Christmas song and released that at the end of last year. So yeah, we've got 8 songs and a bonus track. I think they're 8 relatively different songs as well. I don't think there's anything particularly same-ish. But they all still sound like us, which is exactly what we want. And I feel like even though they are still very much Ablazed songs, you know, there's a couple of drinking songs and there's some fun ones. It's still very much a big step forward in our writing from the first album, No Chaser. It was, we got a bit deeper, we got a bit more complex in the stuff we were writing, and just, had a bit more, we went a little bit more left to center with some of the stuff we were doing.
Yes, I love that. Where do you see the band in 5 years?
Hopefully we're still out playing, still writing. It's so difficult now to know what's happening in a year, let alone anything else. But hey, if we can keep writing, and if there's, need another rock resurgence to help, it'd be nice. But these things come and go, and you never know what's going to happen. I think it's fantastic. Hopefully there's a bit of a resurgence now. We've had Youngblood, one of the biggest artists in the world, drop a really good rock album. So I'm hoping that, him doing that cover of Changes that's taken the world by storm, and then releasing a very, very good album. I'd heard of Youngblood in the past and kind of just thought he was a SoundCloud rapper or something like that. And then when I heard that Changes cover, I went, good Lord, what's this? And then went and listened to the album. Anybody that drops a 9-minute opening track on an album as a single and it's as good as that Hello Heaven Hello song, I'm in. So you never know. Someone comes along and drops an album like that and releases songs like that, and it can influence everything. So hopefully we see a bit of a rock resurgence and some more people doing that sort of thing, at least in the mainstream. It's always there. Rock's a bit more of an underground art now, and that's fine. We know where our people are. But if we can still be together, writing, and we're all getting to that stage now where everybody's starting to get married and talk about having kids and stuff like that. I don't think it'll stop the band, but things will come and go and fluctuate. We've got no plans of stopping anytime soon. If we can still write and we can still play a show, we'll be there.
Hell yeah. Beautiful. What is something about being in a band that you have only learned with time?
That if you want a band with 5 big rock and roll personalities in it, that is exactly what you're going to get.
That's a great answer.
And that's I've learned that that whole I've learned to kind of slow down a little bit and not just try and take off and do let everybody else sing and be collaborative and I've learned that how many amazing people there are around the world that still listen to this music and even stuff that I kind of knew that I didn't until like even writing songs and seeing the impact that a song you can write can have on other people. That to me, like I love seeing people in the crowd singing back at us, that singing the lyrics that we wrote and argued over and changed and rechanged and everything. And having people say, this song means a lot to me is the biggest honor. I mean, we can write a song and it means something to us. And I heard it quite not long ago that the song's not done when you record it and release it. It's done when the other person hears it, because what it means to that fan, to that person that's listening, can be completely different to what we meant, but it's still just as real to them as it is to us. And having people come up and say, this song, that song has meant a lot to me or got me through a very difficult time, that sort of thing, that finding out exactly how powerful all this stuff can be for a bunch of idiots from Melbourne writing songs about drinking. Like to have those moments and how impactful it can be. It's amazing. There's nothing like it.
That really got me there. Can't cry on live. Can't do it. No.
It's amazing. We've got a song off our first album. Towards the end of recording this album, we had 11 songs. We're like, 11 songs. That's a good number for an album. And we'd literally just finished doing pre-production. We were packing up in a studio. Our producer had gone home. And the bassist at the time, Dave, he kind of went, we haven't really got a song for the girls. And we went, what do you mean? Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, look, the song that the girls could really get behind. And I was like, well, we had a ballad on the album called Long Way Home. And I'm like, is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Like, that song about us wanting to go home to the people we love and stuff like that? He's like, no. And he brought up another one of our singles from years ago called This Bitch Bites. And I went, that's a very, very AC/DC sounding song. And I went, okay, are you talking about like a song that's like empowering? Like, because the song, as whatever the title might be, the song is very much about a girl that does whatever she wants with you and she's in charge and you got no say. So I went, okay, well, what do you, and a lot of people enjoy the song still. But we went, what are you thinking? And he started rolling off some ideas and he said, what if we did it like an acoustic song without all the other stuff going on? And then our singer, Danny, went, Mango, you should sing it. You sing it. You can sing, you play guitar, you do it. And I went, we're done. The album's done. All this stuff was behind us for a moment. What am I supposed to do? Okay. And I had a trip. Where I worked at the time, I had to go about 4 hours north of where we are here in Melbourne for a week. And I brought the acoustic guitar along. And every night I sat in this hotel room and I played and I tried to write something. And at the end of that week, I went in. A couple of the guys in the band were a little bit like, this is a very interesting idea. We don't know how we feel about it. Mm-hmm. And for me, playing guitar and singing at the same time, it's not natural. I had to practice it a lot. I can sing and drum, not a problem, but which arguably is probably more complicated. But guitar, so I sat there for a week trying to figure this out. And when I got to the next jam that we had, I couldn't do it at the same time. So I played it on my phone and I held my phone up to the microphone and I sung along with what I'd written. And they all just went, yep, that's it. That's exactly what we wanted. And we recorded it. So there's this song that I sing on it called Bottom of My Bottle. And it's a song about, essentially about me being an idiot Um, Mostly about, it's about being the kind of person that doesn't always learn the lessons very easily and dragging
Yeah.
myself home to a partner that picks me up, tells me off, and then takes me away and looks after me. And that kind of idea of having that partner that sits there and goes, yeah, you're an idiot, but you're my idiot, and and being that, that cover in the eye of the storm. And so
Mhm.
it's yeah, that one has really hit home with some people, and it's hard to play when we tour because bringing extra acoustic guitars and stuff like that, we pack
Yeah.
into our guitarist's Toyota Tarago van, and there's not always that much room in it. Um, and so it's not one that we get to play on the road too much, but when we do get to play it, the whole crowd screams along, and it's even though it was never a single or anything like that, it's always really carried itself, and yeah, it's just one of those tracks for us where people go, this song really hit home with me, and yeah,
Yeah.
I get to really get that impact, especially given that it was a very stressful write in the week leading up to when we put it together. But yeah, it's yeah, just that feeling from any of our songs is just that's what it's all about.
I love that. That is some answer. Well, I'm gonna try and intertwine this then with the kind of writing process. So how do you guys handle burnt out kind of creative blocks when they hit?
If we're writing together as a group, if someone's brought in a riff or a chorus or a set of lyrics or whatever it happens to be, we'll start piecing them together. At the moment, it's very, very much that kind of jigsaw where someone's got a chorus, someone's got a verse. These will kind of work together. Let's change this, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If we hit a point where we're sitting there and we're looking at a change or moving into a new section or a particular line of lyrics or something like that, and we're sitting there and we find ourselves in a room that's silent, everybody just sitting there like this trying to figure out what to do, we go, leave it,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about it, we'll come back, and we'll completely change. We'll go to a different song, we'll start practicing some of our old stuff, we'll talk about merch or touring or whatever it is that we're doing at the time and just try and do a complete switch around. And then next time we'll come back together, and the amount of times that someone goes, oh, this, and that's it. We get out of our heads, completely change gears, and then when we come back, the most obvious thing in the world pops out because we couldn't see the forest for the trees. And so once we get out of our own way and have the ability to come back with fresh eyes, fresh ears, all of a sudden everything seems to make sense. And it happens. It absolutely happens. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. We will go down, our lead guitarist band's got a beach house, again, down the Great Ocean Road where we nearly got killed fishing. And we'll go down there for 3 or 4 days at a time and go really old school and just set up in a big room, and we
Yeah.
will wake up in the morning, we'll have something to eat, we'll go down there for 2 or 3 hours, we'll have lunch, we'll go down there for 4 or 5 hours, we'll have dinner, we'll do a little bit more, and then we'll have beers. And
Yes.
yeah, when you are in that almost, I don't want to say forced situation, but it's a situation
Mm-hmm.
where we're here to write, let's do
Mm-hmm.
it. When you suddenly get hit by that, I don't know what to do next,
Yeah.
you sit there going, okay, well, we better figure it out. We've taken time away from our jobs and our lives, and everything is focused on this at the moment. This would be the time to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, being able to just go, nah, you know what, let's go have dinner, or hey, let's take an hour, go for a walk down the beach, or go drop a fishing line into something like that, and just do something completely different, and then come back. We've had times where we've stopped for the night, we've gone, nah, we're not doing this. We'll have beers, it'll end up being way too big of a night, and then at 9:30, 10 o'clock the next morning, we'll be sitting on the couch feeling sorry for ourselves, and one of us will be twanging away on an acoustic, and we'll just go, hey, what about this? And just play it, and we just go, yeah, that's exactly what it had to be.
That's brilliant. So this kind of intertwines with the other question as well. With the songs, do you guys write from experience of the experiences that have happened in your life, or is it based off of like characters and stories?
Both. In fact, those
Both.
would be the two main things that we write from. So yeah, like on this current album, there's probably some good examples of it actually. So things like Menace for the Medicine. I mean, Menace for the Medicine is essentially written to be a stripper song, really. it's a, it, it's got that the tempo of it, the beat, but it is about, and it's written about a beautiful girl who will do whatever she can to get her hands on some stuff. But we've met plenty of people in the music world as we've toured that are like that will
Yes.
focus on whatever that vice is, whether it's booze, whether it's something a bit more nefarious,
Yeah.
and honestly, kind of sad. But yeah, that song's about those people that very much exist. And I mean, the song's written a little bit more lighthearted,
Yeah.
um, but it's a bit more of a darker theme. Then there's stuff like Siren's Call, which is probably the heaviest song we've ever written. That's very story thematic. I mean, our lead guitarist, Ben, he really wanted that. He's had the title for a long time. And it's about, yeah, that Greek mythology thing, that, the
Hmm.
beautiful woman that sings and drags you to your death. And yeah, we kind of explore that theme. We kind of try to make it a little bit more modernized, and it is kind of just about, someone that is dragging you away and terrible if you're not careful. But it's,
Hmm.
yeah, it's that kind of thematic thing. And then even stuff like um, Old Scratch, which is just a story. It's just we wanted to write a part two or a part three to the Devil at the Crossroads story, in which we've all heard the songs and the movies about going to the crossroads and selling your soul for
Yeah.
your music, and then obviously there's like the devil went down to Georgia, where you come back and plays guitar, plays fiddle against the devil and stuff. This one I said, what happens if there was another part? What happened if you get down there, you go back down to that crossroads, or in this, yeah,
Hmm.
down to a pub basically, and find the devil and go, everything you promised me was rubbish. I'm
Hmm.
going to drink you under the table. and, that's, and that's what it's just a silly song about drinking with the devil and winning,
Hmm.
because we apparently think that that's something that we can do. But yeah, it's just, yeah, any of that sort of stuff. Once upon a time, early days when we were writing lyrics, there was very much it was very linear. There was a story, there was a start, there was an end. But as we started to get a little bit more experienced and a little bit more confident in the way that we
Hmm.
wrote, we could start exploring things more of a theme, as opposed to
Yeah.
just a story that's a once upon a time to they lived happily ever after. Like it was a bit more. We could explore themes and things a little bit more, and we could use a lot more imagery, and yeah, hopefully start getting to the point where our songs aren't just this is what this is about. It can
Yeah.
be more of a asking a question as opposed to answering it.
Hmm. Wow. These are some amazing answers. I'm very blown away right now.
Oh, thank you.
I'm considering my iPad has just died because my new questions were on it, so I am now currently reading from my little booklet. So bear
That's all
with
right.
me. Okay, if you could summon any three artists or bands, dead or alive, to do a dream collab with, who would it be?
Good Lord. I don't know. That's a tough question. Like into three artists.
Hmm.
Um, well, I love the way that Slash writes songs. I love the way, and especially some of the stuff that isn't that stuff that's in the middle. I
Yeah.
I, I love all those odd little things that have been written around. So I loved the Slash's Snake Pit albums. And so, you know, to be able to write songs like Ain't Life Grand with a big band behind you and stuff like that, it's just different. And I like that sleazy, that dirty, but there's still so much other stuff in it. Yeah, writing with Slash would be amazing. I have an immense amount of respect and awe for the way that Miles Kennedy writes lyrics. And yeah, he's absolutely an idol of mine. So that sort of thing is where, you know, talking to him as well would be amazing. And probably one of my favorite musicians of all time, Joe Satriani.
Yes.
I first discovered him as a teenager, just as I was starting to find out that AC/DC wasn't the only rock in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, with a back catalogue like that and as much variety as he is able to write, and then the thing that I respect the most, which is he, you know, being able to convey emotions and things that don't even necessarily have a specific name, but also being able to do it better because he's not limited by words, because it's so much of it is instrumental. You can communicate stuff. And the same for John Petrucci with his solo albums. There's just, I mean, the first time I heard John Petrucci's Wishful Thinking, it's, you know, the song is, it's positive, but there's this kind of longing behind it. The title kind of says it all, but then the way that it's performed, and there's no lyrics. It is a belter of an instrumental track with 2 or 3 very distinct sections to it. And it's, to be able to do that without actually relying on saying the thing that you're trying to convey, which in many ways would be easier. Yeah, that sort of thing from people like Joe and John Petrucci, that would be, yeah, that's always blown my mind. And so, yeah, to be able to talk and collab, you know, anything to do with songwriting with someone like those guys would, yeah, that would be an experience.
I love that. These are honestly amazing answers. Now I'm going to try and get into a bit of the funny ones that we've got. So my first one would be, what is the strangest or coolest thing that someone has shouted during a set?
Good Lord. See, I'm up the back, so I missed a fair bit of it. But, I mean, we've yelled some pretty ridiculous stuff back at the crowd. I remember when our first album came up and we did our big launch show here in Melbourne, someone in the crowd, just as I would have been sitting at the front. Well, it's the first time we played that Bottom of My Bottle song. Everyone was kind of looking up going, why is the drummer holding a guitar? What have these people allowed to happen? And someone in the crowd just yelled out, I love you, Mango. And I don't know why, but I looked at them and I yelled out, I told you to stay in the car. I don't know why that's... And the other guys on stage were cackling. And she's like, oh no, that was a horrible thing to say. No, but it was funny. But people yell out, because the problem is we yell out back. And no one's ever yelled at anything overly abusive. That's, which is nice. But no, we have some ridiculous conversations. Especially, I mean, one of our songs, we literally go across the front pouring whiskey into the mouths of the people in the front row.
Hell yeah!
A song of ours called Where's My Drink, which is fantastic for everybody who's heard it, because everybody runs to the front of the stage, which is what we want. They want free alcohol, which is fair. But, yeah, when that's the kind of behaviour you encourage, people say some pretty wild stuff. But,
it makes good memories, though.
Yeah, and removes a few as well.
Very true. That is very true. Okay, this is going to be a bit of an odd one, but we love hearing all the different answers on Uncensored. If you guys could have an inanimate object as a mascot, what would it be?
Okay. So there's two answers to this, and it's because we do have them as mascots. Right?
Oh, okay.
The first one is we were on the ferry basically that takes you down to Tasmania from mainland Australia on tour, and our singer and our rhythm guitarist at the time were playing one of those claw machines, and they won one of those. Oh, I'm not young enough for this. The green evil things off Minecraft. If
Oh,
you've
the
seen them,
creeper. I think
that
it's a creeper. Yeah.
yeah, they won one of those, and it's about that big, and they had no idea what it was. And they came back to our cabin and went, "We won this," and we're like, "Do you know what that is?" And they're like, "I think it's a Minecraft thing." And one of them just went, "It looks like a pixelated dick," because we're all teenagers still mentally. And so Pixel Dick is in the van all the time, has been all over Australia, came around Europe with us last time, and has seen more of the world than most people just because we won it. We went, yep, that's us now. That thing is part of the band. And the other answer is a statue. There is a statue here in Australia. Australia is famous for having random big things next to the highway that people go to see, like the big pineapple, the big banana, the giant koala, all this kind of stuff that's just next to the highway in different parts of the country. I don't know why. Most of it's slightly terrifying. But there is this town called Gundagai that is halfway between Melbourne and Sydney, the two biggest cities in Australia. It's an 8.5 hour drive. And right in the middle, out in the middle of nowhere, there is this town called Gundagai. It's a great place. And it's famous for this little statue that is next to the highway in a fountain called the Dog on the Tucker Box.
Oh, okay.
Now, the whole point of this statue is there's a poem and called 5 Miles from Gundagai. And the whole story is this farmer is out working, and part of his, he's got ox dragging his whatever it is, because it's an old story, and something breaks on the plow or something like that, and everything goes wrong, and the steer gets off and runs off, and he gets annoyed, and he comes over, and his dog is sitting on his lunchbox. Now, the actual story is it's not sitting, it's shitting on his tucker box. And so the whole thing is this guy had a really bad day. And they wrote a poem about it to make fun of him. And Australia, as a country, said, that's amazing. We're going to erect a statue on the main thoroughfare between the two largest cities to commemorate this guy's dog taking a dump on his lunch. It is the most quintessentially Australian thing I've ever heard. Every time we drive past it, we stop and we take a photo. The people there know us that run the little visitor centre thing that's next to it. We played a show there when the statue got damaged by vandals, and they had to fix it, and they reopened it. They invited us up to play. And we've got a little, that actually it's right here. Give me a tick.
Yes, I love it.
It is this thing. I bought it because I think it's the funniest thing in the world. This is what it looks like. And the real version of it is only about that tall, right? But 5 miles from Gundagai, sitting on the tucker box, and we've got a mini one as well that we literally stuck on the bonnet of the van last time we were in the UK, and it drove around with us.
My God.
It is just for me, it's just so Australian to do something like that. But it's also it needs a sense of humour that does come from a British background. Or a UK background. It's funny in a glib kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sense of humour is why we do so well when we come over there, because we get each other's sense of humour. And all we do as a band is try to make each other laugh and make everybody
Oh,
else laugh with us. So I think, yeah, that's a strange
I,
answer to your question.
ooh, I need to compose myself for a second because I'm just having these awful images in my head right now. I'm not gonna. Okay, compose myself. Okay. Ooh. Well, over here in the UK, I'm sure that when you've been from service stop to service stop, we've got a thing called a meal deal over here. So you can either get it from like
Mm.
Tesco, Co-op, Marks and Spencer's, and you get a main, a side, and a drink. What would be your go-to meal deal on the road?
Trying to remember if I had one of those meal deals when I was there. God knows we went from service stop to service
Ooh.
stop. We would have had to. Oh, look, I'm always, so was it a meal, a side, and a drink?
Yep. So like a sandwich or
Okay,
a
so
salad.
yeah, so my go-to, as much as it shouldn't be, would probably be some sort of hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
A burger, usually oh, it depends. I like a simple, I don't like all extra weird stuff in it. I just want a burger with some cheese and some salad and some onion and some sauce. Or like a
Yes.
fried chicken, or a fried chicken burger of some description.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Um, in terms of a side, yeah, I'm usually good with chips. Or onion rings is a big one.
Ooh, yes.
Or even if there's a dessert deal, I'm really big on a chocolate chip cookie. I
Oh.
love a good big soft chocolate chip cookie. And then in terms of a drink, it'll depend on how awake I am. If it's I'm big on a Pepsi Max, but if I'm struggling or on the way to the gig, a Red Bull is a winner.
Yes. Oh, I love a Red Bull. That's what kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Now, I know I've got a couple more, but since my iPad has died, I'm just gonna have to wing this now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh. So, hold on. Apologies, guys. My iPad decided to die, so that's absolutely brilliant from me. So, how would you describe your music to someone that has never heard you?
It's really hard because we say, and we've encountered this the entire time we've been writing the music we do. We just say rock because originally we had this issue originally because me and the lead guitarist Ben both had kind of side fringes going on early days when we were in our early 20s.
Hey!
So a lot of people thought that we were a hardcore band or something, and we're like, no, we just look like this. Um, most of the time, I'll either start talking about the bands we've supported, the bigger bands
Mhm.
that they might know. So yeah, I'll say, oh look, we're an Aussie rock band, but no, we don't sound exactly like AC/DC. We've got a bit of Guns N' Roses and we've got a bit of Buck Cherry and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's a broad range, which makes it really hard to describe. Really.
That's wonderful. And before we go, if you could let everybody know where we can find you guys, like platforms that you like to use, etc.
Yep. So we are at Ablazed Band on everything. We are on all our film clips and stuff are on YouTube. We're definitely not YouTubers. It's more of a repository for all of our music videos and some little online series and things we've done in the past. We're on Facebook and Instagram the most. I know we're late to the party. We've just fired off the TikTok properly. So I'm trying to get into this TikTok
Yeah.
thing and figure out how it all works. We post plenty of funny stuff as well as our music and yeah, all the tickets for our UK and Europe dates coming up are all at www.ablazeband.com.
Ooh,
We're coming through. We leave in 2 weeks today. I'll be on a plane somewhere halfway between.
beautiful.
So we'll be there. We are coming straight in, playing through Belgium and France, and then we're coming up to the UK. We're playing Rock in the Bowl. We're playing Hard Rock Hell
Gotcha.
Sleaze, and we're playing a couple of club shows as well. We're playing in I think it's the Purple Turtle in Reading. We're playing the Globe in Glossop, and we're playing Rock Bottom in Falkirk. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing them all
Woohoo!
properly. But yeah, so we're doing basically a run straight down the middle,
Beautiful. Well, I'm
and
sure
then
me
going
and my
over to Germany.
colleague will be there. We've got my colleague
Awesome.
here, Tom. So yeah, we can't wait to come see you guys.
Awesome. Be great to meet you.
and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. And I hope you get some sort of sleep since I've woken you up at 5 a.m.
No, it's okay. I'll figure it out. There might be a few Red Bulls today.
Well, I again thank you so much, and as I said, I look forward to meeting you.
No worries, can't wait. We'll see you soon.
Take care. Bye.